I think the big story this year is prediction market. They are increasingly encroaching into traditionally regulated sports betting territory by offering a prediction market on, point spread, player props, all that sort of stuff.
We're back with another Stocktwits Executive Interview, and we're here with Charles Gillespie, CEO, co-founder, and director of Gambling.com Group. Charles, welcome back. I feel like you were just here with us.
Yeah, these quarters go by faster than ever.
Probably faster for some of us than others, but I know a lot of people following these stocks closely, and we love when we have executives like yourself come back and continue to have the conversation with us. And I noticed in following your most recent earnings, and I want to get into those record results with you, a continuation of some of the themes you laid out for me last time we talked, primarily around sort of vacation of revenue and kind of moving more omnichannel. We talked about data last time. So I want to get into all that with you because it seems like there was some good progress there. Let's start with the earnings. Give us a breakdown of what you shared out. And what the main takeaways should be for anyone who didn't catch those when they came out.
Yeah, so the key takeaways are record Q2 performance in the business. So not an all-time record, but a record for the second quarter. The business is now increasingly composed of two different divisions. So we've got our sports data services business, which is relatively new on the back of the acquisition of OddsJam and OptiOdds at the beginning of the year. That also includes RotoWire, and that for the first time hit 25% of group revenue. So that's not a throwaway side project anymore. It's a very material part of the overall business. It's also the fastest growing part of the business. OptiOdds grew at 120% year on year, and it has a similar high margin profile to our marketing business, 35-40% adjusted EBITDA margins. So the profitability there is there as well. On the marketing side of the business, again, record Q2 numbers. We have started investing more in taking the business beyond just organic search, natural search, SEO, whatever you want to call it. That's kind of the history of the business. That's what myself and my co-founder and the whole team are extremely talented and experienced at. But in the past year, reading the tea leaves about where things are going with digital marketing and AI and everything else, we wanted to take that experience and capabilities we have and put more into all the other channels. I mean, you have paid media, you've got social media, you've got communities, you've got just building brands and engaging people, re-engaging your audience instead of having a kind of transactional relationship with them. And there's really a kind of unlimited amount of stuff we can do on that side of the business to grow traffic and revenue from those non-search channels. And we started putting more time into that about a year ago, and that's part of why we had a very successful Q2 and it came together as planned.
Yeah, even in conversations we've had lately on some of our shows, it seems like just now sort of the mainstream is catching on to sort of changes that due to LLMs and AI. But to your point, the space very well. You guys probably saw this coming ahead of a lot of other people. And it sounds like even the last time we talked, we were talking about just even the data side that you alluded to, and that being on sort of a different sort of economic model than some of the advertising. Is that the case where you knew a lot about this space more so than most, and you could sort of see where it was going before most people?
Yeah, I mean, we've been thinking about this for 3 years, right? I mean, ChatGPT came out quite a while ago at this point. It's user adoption of ChatGPT has been, and other LLMs has been, I think it's the fastest growing consumer products ever. And obviously, and it captures people's imagination and attention, right? It's incredible. I mean, the technology is admittedly, mind blowing, but people have definitely overreacted to what it means for all the, for Google and for other digital publishers online. Google is losing some search queries, some traffic, it's leaving Google, but it's not the most valuable traffic. Those commercial queries that, where there's a lot of user intent, the person has their kind of wallet in their hand ready to transact, that has been proportionally less affected. Okay. And a lot of that is still there on Google. And that's why Google reported second quarter record results. I think their results in Q2 were an all-time record, including for the search business. So, there's this discontinuity between public sentiment about what is happening to digital marketing and what is actually happening. Our numbers, were very strong and will continue to be very strong. It's not like these businesses are going away or anything. Is growth of the natural search channel in the future going to be less than it was in the past? Yeah, that's fair. But it's not like these businesses are struggling or shrinking. There's still a lot of value to be created for end users by just publishing the content they want to hear. And they don't always want it to be summarized by an LLM,
Yeah.
If they want to demo a slot machine, okay, you can't do that on an LLM, right? If you want to, see pictures of a land-based casino, an online casino, see videos of it, okay, it just doesn't exist in the LLM, right? It's just two different things. So while it's really useful, obviously, and look, for our business, incredibly useful. Huge technology team. We spent a lot of money on new products and building cool new stuff for all of our users, and it's easier to do all of that with AI, right? So it's a net positive for our business. There's only one kind of small element which is a bit of a headwind, and the rest of it, it's a really nice tell.
Yeah, it's an important distinction you made for people who aren't as in the weeds of marketing, in that there's different tools and channels that align with different sort of mental states when you're in the journey of considering something. And to your point, a high intent, you're looking Google became so dominant because it was where you go to find something, what you want to look for, you have a specific idea of it. And it feels like a lot of LLM usage, at least how I use it, I'm not quite at that place yet. I'm maybe a little earlier in my discovery. And so it is important to think about like the intent layer with that as we talk about things like LLM becoming more popular. I think, to your point, there's still a place for a Google search.
Yeah, and behind so many of these answers from the LLMs is a Google search. Yep. It's one of the most fundamental necessities of the internet is to be able to index and retrieve information. And whether it's being packaged in an LLM answer or a list, it's just still indexing, ranking, and retrieving information like that. It's really kind of the same. So, the veneer is changing, but behind the scenes, it's still all about, expertise, authority, trust, being the, definitive reference for whatever it is people are looking for, right? And, our whole thing is, okay, we are the world's experts at everything related to online casino and sports betting. And increasingly, we're taking that into land-based casinos as well, because we bought the domain name casinos.com a couple of years ago, put a whole new website up on that. And we announced an acquisition on the earnings call last week to buy a company called Spotlight.Vegas. So Spotlight helps people with their trips to Vegas acquire tickets to all the different events, and a lot of these events are inside the casino, right? You got your, Cirque du Soleil, Blue Man Group, some of the events are outside the casino. You got the Sphere, right?
The Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, all of it, right? And that's a huge part of the revenue of Las Vegas. It's not only gambling, right? At a casino, you can do more than just gamble. And the acquisition of Spotlight, which we announced last week, will close on September 1st. It's not a huge deal. It's 10 times smaller than the OddsJam deal, but it really fills this kind of key missing piece in our portfolio that we've had our eyes on for a couple of years. How can we claim to be the experts in all things casino if we don't cover that part of it as well? And with the online casino affiliate business, we help people find online casinos. We refer them. We get paid by the online gambling operators for that referral. But at some point, we hand them off to the online casino, and it's the online casino's job to convert that player. And we're kind of out of the loop on that, and hoping they do a good job of it. And if they don't do a good job of it, okay, we'll work with other partners. But with Spotlight.Vegas, we control the whole customer journey. Okay, so when they buy that ticket to go see the Backstreet Boys, they're putting their credit card up, on our systems, transacting with us. So we have that, A to Z customer journey, which means we can optimize the whole thing. There's basically more wet clay for our digital marketing people to go in and shape into a better business. So yeah, it's not a huge deal, but it's a really nice addition to the portfolio, and it'll complement everything else we're doing online.
Yeah, it seems like that would be interesting from like a cross-selling, cross-promotion, but put your commentary on the earnings call, another sort of like chess piece towards more diversification, even if it is, smaller than other some of the other aspects of the business. I want to ask you about how the acquisition is planning on being integrated into the current assets. I think what you laid out at a high level makes a ton of sense in that ecosystem. Do you yet know exactly sort of how this piece will be monetized or how it will play with other components within the system you're building?
Yeah, so Spotlight.Vegas is its own thing. That's, we haven't even closed the acquisition yet. So as it stands today, it's totally independent. We will layer on our digital marketing expertise to help them dramatically increase the number of people coming to the website in the first place. And then we'll optimize their conversion rates optimize the number of people that make it from visiting to actually buying a ticket. And then there's a lot of stuff to be tweaked at the margins in terms of payments and refunds and just kind of basic business stuff. Spotlight's a great business. It's got a talented leader named Doug, who we're looking forward to working with. But they're a pretty small team, right? They just haven't had they don't have the resources we have. So we can kind of go in there SWAT team style and kind of level up a lot of the things that they're doing. But, medium term, we want to take that technology and layer it into casinos.com, right? I mean, that's a kind of an obvious add. Casinos.com should cover anything related to casinos. And of course, events within casinos fits squarely within that. And then you can start to think beyond Las Vegas, right? Okay, you got a lot of regional casinos in the United States. You got Atlantic City. With the technology platform we get from the acquisition of Spotlight, we can do it in any market. It's just a question of a bit of business development to put the deals in place, get the relationships with the entertainment providers, and off you go.
Well, we've been talking a lot on this show, mostly off camera, about how we're excited for the NFL season to be coming. I don't know what it was. It was a really hot summer or something, but we were talking earlier before we got on, just looking forward to the fall. So curious, what are you sort of expecting to see this NFL season? Are there any trends your team's spotting? Anything that we should be looking out for, either as investors or just fans of the game?
Yeah, I think the big story this year is prediction markets. So that's, you got Kalshi, Polymarket, a couple of others out there. They are increasingly encroaching into traditionally regulated sports betting territory by offering offering a prediction market on, point spread, player props, all that sort of stuff. So that'll certainly grow in prominence this year. Both the players and the operators are very into this product called same game parlay, basically where you pick kind of 5 or 10 different separate things within one game and you create a parlay about it. Basically ends up being a lottery ticket. Mm-hmm. You could put $1 on it and you could win, 10,000 or more, depending on how long those odds are. People love it. It's a high entertainment product. They get a lot out of it. And the operators love it because, frankly, it's a high margin product, right? Like, not very many of these things hit and pay out, and those way more than cover the ones that don't. So I think you see a lot more of that. We're working on some very cool stuff, AI related stuff around bots and tools and LLMs that you can just talk to build bets and find bets. We'll be talking a lot more about that soon.
Well, I'm going to need to get a heads up on that. I've been known to make some crazy parlays and not win. But to your point, I think not only it's beneficiary for the other side of the table, but also I think for fans, it's fun. When you would go to a bar, every moment of the game is somehow a game in and of itself. And I think that's why people are drawn to those. So the bot and the AI aspect is super interesting. And again, circling back to where we started, bringing all that content and data points together that you have access to across the portfolio seems like an interesting application for some of these AI tools.
Absolutely. OptiOdds and OddsJam, they have the best odds data in the world, full stop. Okay. It's the most complete. It's the most accurate. It's the lowest latency. And that's why that business is growing like a weed. So, we can take that data and do all sorts of super cool AI enabled stuff with it. And, look, it's a premium product. We're not going to give all that data away for free, but we can use it in one form or another to power a lot of the different things that we're doing.
All right, Charles, thank you so much for stopping by again. You'll have to come back perhaps next quarter. Of course, this is Charles Gillespie, CEO, co-founder, and director of gambling.com Group. Thank you again for joining us.
Thanks, Katie.